Honda. I got the Passport right now. That's why I came up.
You remember when they held that up from its
They held it up, 3 of them.
3 of them.
And I got the Passport right now, and I am so disappointed in Honda.
Really?
Yeah, because Honda makes 6 core products. They make the incredibly successful, popular, great vehicles.
Name them.
HRV, CRV, Pilot, Odyssey, Accord, Civic, right? Those are the big 6.
Odyssey hasn't been redesigned since 2015. But
yeah, but it's a huge seller. Absolute killer car. All 6 of those cars are absolute killers.
Yeah.
Like there is not one person in the world who shouldn't be driving one of those 6 cars, unless you have any interest in automobiles, and then you shouldn't be driving one of those 6 cars. No, the CTR is cool. But anyway, other than that, Honda is so afraid. They're so terrified to do anything.
Well, you remember the Ridgeline? You didn't even mention that, and they sell it.
Yeah, but that's an example of what I'm talking about. When I was a child, all right, Honda was the first hybrid. Honda came out with a mid-engine supercar to rival Ferrari. Honda was the first that came out with that blind spot camera, which, by the way, they discontinued just as everybody else started coming out with it.
Yep.
And now Honda comes out with this. The reason I bring this up is this Passport is over here. And it is such a cop-out. It is such an utter cop-out to this segment. And I was giving him the sales numbers before. Do you know, Kenan, take a guess as to how many Toyota 4Runners are sold every year in the United States?
An innumerable amount, all of them. Genuinely, I can't imagine.
On average, 130,000 4Runners, 120,000 Broncos, 200,000 Wranglers.
Wow.
In Passports, 40,000.
Wow.
And I asked the guy, why don't you just go body on frame and go locking diff and do the thing that is so popular? And he said, we wanted to provide a more balanced experience for the customer. And I said, the customer doesn't want a balanced experience. They're going out there buying all these trash cars that ride terribly. Go make a car. And Honda, especially, is a company that makes all these power sports, right? These ATVs and these side-by-sides. Like, that's a Honda hallmark. And it would be so obvious for them to graduate into this world. And they're just afraid. They're afraid of anything. The Prelude is automatic. They're afraid of like really going out there.
I think they are afraid of that. I think that they would also say that the new Passport is styled to look more aggressive, and that will
styled
resonate.
That way.
That what consumers actually want is something that looks like that, but drives better.
But the sales numbers prove that is not what they want.
The new Passport has been for sale for a month. That's last generation Passport, which we all agreed was a mediocre.
No,
product.
Honda wouldn't have agreed to that. Well, they were trying to sell that car, and they pitched it even then as the off-road alternative to the Pilot.
This is more off-road than the old Passport.
Well, you know what? You care to make a little wager
I
as
don't
to the
think
sales discrepancy?
Add this to my calendar. We can circle back in a year.
I just don't get it. Like, I know that it's hard to develop a body-on-frame platform and do the locker thing, but 4Runner has been out there. It's in the time that Honda's been kind of screwing around with not doing this, 4Runner has sold over 1 million units in the United States. It is not easy to sell 1 million of anything. No. And since 15, 4Runner's probably sold 1.3, 1.4 million cars in the United States. Yeah. And Honda comes out with this Pilot base. Yeah, same gen. Not much work then there.
No.
Where is the Honda of yesteryear?
It's worth noting that Honda has never made a body-on-frame vehicle. The one that they have sold 2, you know they are.
The Passport and the Crossroad and the SLX.
The old Passport and the SLX, which were Zuzu Rodeo and
Crossroad.
Trooper. I do, but that wasn't sold in the U.S. For the record.
Rebadged the Land Rover Discovery as the Honda Crossroad.
Yeah. But they never made one. Maybe they don't want to.
They didn't make a V6 until they did. They didn't make a turbo until they did.
And how did that work out for them?
Well, what do you mean? They got V6s in the Pilot.
Every single V6 was made when they first came out with it. Was mated to a 4-speed automatic that has since that died 28 days later.
You're missing the point.
Accurate.
The point is they don't make anything until they do. They didn't have turbo until they did. They didn't have electric until they did.
That's true. I don't blame them for not going down that road, but I don't think they're going to find the success with the Passport that they want.
The market is I think their true argument would be this is a lot easier. You just take the Pilot, make it smaller, and you kind of try to convince people. It's a marketing car.
It's way easier.
But people don't buy
cheaper.
They literally don't buy it, but also they don't buy it. They realize that they're being lied to.
But if they sell 60,000, okay, you're halfway to a Bronco without any of the development costs.
It's not none of the development costs.
With a small fraction of the development costs.
Yeah, but you got to also consider, what is the transaction price on that versus Bronco? Bronco had 3 years where they were over sticker.
Totally.
Right? And resale is still crazy, and everybody's still super into it.
But then they'd have to build a little mountain inside their dealerships. They don't have room for that.
You know what they would really have to do is build a truck. Like the genesis of all of this is that Honda just doesn't want to build a real pickup truck. But if they would just compete, and by the way, we could get into Ridgeline Tacoma sales here also, and that also wouldn't look pretty. If they would have just 10 years ago committed to competing with the Tacoma, they could have a 4Runner competitor and a credible Tacoma competitor, and they'd have 2 more in their core 6 that sold massive numbers. But they're just too scared. They're like Filippo at 40 all. You know, he's like afraid of making a.
Just for context,
I've seen that happen.
In 2024, Honda sold 41,000 Ridgelines.
Yeah. How many Tacomas they sell in 24?
192,000.
Jesus.
5 times as many.
It's 5 to 1.
That is crazy. That is
5 to 1.
Yep.
Just so Honda can save money on the platform. It's like, okay, but if you had done this 10 years ago, it's like the company that always rents their space instead of buying it. And then 30 years in the future, they look back and they're like, you know, this is exactly that. If they had just developed the platform when this was starting to become hot, they would have 2 more really successful products right now.
Now, I will say Nissan sold more Frontiers than Ridgelines, which is tough. Tough
Remember,
position to be in.
The best time to plant a tree
Yesterday.
is yesterday. The second best time is today.
Wow.
How beautiful.
The
How
best
beautiful,
time
dude.
to develop a mid-sized body-on-frame truck SUV architecture is yesterday.
A decade ago, yeah.
It's a decade ago.
Right. Screw the
Second
tree.
best time is today. That market is not changing. And Honda, I think with that car, the Passport, is still sitting there thinking, we're not sure.
Honda
I am
hasn't
sure.
innovated in any way in 20 years.
I don't
Which is
entirely
a tough
agree
take,
with that.
but it isn't wrong.
There's a lot of great stuff on that car.
Innovative, though?
The transmission selector is those buttons and
Which
switches.
they've been doing since that went into the Acura RLX in 2017,
But
16.
switches have existed since the 50s. But I mean, whatever.
But that specific design has been in use for a while.
Right.
I will say, there's some clever stuff in that car. You know there's no hump in the center?
Good.
Which is pretty hard to do on an all-wheel drive
My family
car.
had a 2003 Honda Pilot, no hump in the center.
Yeah, I mean, that's good packaging.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago.
Well, the point is...
Right, they continue to be good.
You
I will
say that,
say
but
that.
I've been in cars
I'm
this
taking-
week
Yeah, I
that
know.
still have.
I'm taking that back. The Honda Fit's packaging was innovative and excellent, and that which they developed for the Japanese market in like 2004. Oh, wait, no, that was 20 years ago. Never mind. All right.
My
let's move on.
point is, okay, fine, but that's why people buy Hondas. And honestly, I think that trait of just durable stuff that you already know is exactly what people are looking for in a
Well,
body-on-frame
Honda's
SUV.
successful. Yeah, true.
And
True.
Honda has the brand rep to do
Yeah.
it. If Chevy did it with a Blazer, maybe they get it. If Hyundai tried it, people would be like, eh. But if Honda, with all their power sports and all their durability rep,
agree.
went out there with a 4Runner rival, it would sell.
Yep, I 100% agree.
Got to be called something other than the Passport, though. That feels very weak name-wise.
If Toshihiro Mibe is listening, the CEO of Honda Motor Company, as you know, hopefully he will make that directive to his team.
I just deeply believe it.
You're right.
I mean, I've always been right. I've always said all these manufacturers need a G-Wagon competitor. I've been saying this in years. I have a video that is now private on the old channel for like 10 years ago, talking about how everybody needs a G-Wagon competitor. And suddenly we're seeing some interesting things happening. BMW is now saying they want one. Lexus has Alexified the world. I think that everybody started, the Telluride became boxy, et cetera, et cetera. The Bronco showed up.
Toyota sells 30 trillion SUVs, period. A lot of which are offered at the
And they don't have competition. You got to also be, if you're Toyota, you got to also be sitting there going, I don't know why these guys don't compete with us. It reminds me of when I started on YouTube and Road and Trek and Car and Driver wouldn't create a YouTube channel. And it was so clear that there was a huge revenue opportunity there. And they were just like, no, we're going to sit this out. We don't believe in that medium.
Yep.
And then it all passed them by.
I thought I was pretty good about finding deals. Then I started using Upside, and now I realized that I was leaving money on the table every single day. Gas, groceries, eating out. Upside gives you cash back on all of it. It's stupid simple. Download the free app, claim your offer, pay as usual, and get paid. There are over 100,000 locations on Upside, so no matter where I am, I can open the app and find a spot nearby to earn. I've paid for an entire weekend of dining out just with the cash back I've racked up over a few months. You can earn an average of 8% back on groceries and restaurants, and the best part, you can stack it on top of your existing credit or debit rewards. That's why Upside users are earning hundreds a year, and why it's sitting at 4.8 stars on the App Store. You can download the free Upside app and use promo code CARS to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code CARS.